Unified British heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has choice words for Deontay Wilder, says stop playing games, we owe it to the fans to make it happen. Stay tuned, coming up next.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Anthony Joshua, Unified British Heavyweight Champion, is upset at the fact that Deontay Wilder manager Shelly FINKEL came out and said that they're looking to 2020 to face Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is now stating, listen, we owe it to the fans to make it happen. Maybe they're just playing mind games with me. Maybe they really do want the fight next. Why I just can't see why they will wait till 2020 to make this fight happen when we have all opportunity and all space to make it happen right now. Well, Anthony Joshua, I have to say that's a direct contradiction, because you sat in the chair and you said that you would freeze Deontay Wilder out if he kept running his lips. You said that you probably won't fight Deontay Wilder until 2020. This is what you said, Anthony Joshua. Well, 2020 is right around the corner now. You said this 2 years ago. You reiterated it a year and a half ago, that if Deontay Wilder kept running his lips, that you would freeze him out and not fight him till 2020, when you're ready, is what you said, Anthony Joshua. And now Deontay Wilder is supposed to do a about face and abide by your rules, and now the fight should be made because you say that it should be made now? Well, what happened in July, August, when this fight was trying to be made by Deontay Wilder? What happened when all he asked for was a rematch clause, a two-way rematch clause? What happened when he offered you $50 million and you didn't accept it? What happened when he accepted the 12.5 to come over to the UK to face you? What happened when he accepted the 15 million to come over to the UK to face you? And all he asked in return was a rematch clause, and you guys didn't want to give it to him. You didn't want to succumb to his demands. And all he was asking for was a two-way rematch clause. And you wanted a one-way rematch clause. And then in the rematch, you wanted the lion's share of the pie should you lose. As if Deontay Wilder is not a champion. That's diva-like mentality. That's diva-like behavior. And so now Deontay walked away from the negotiation table, said he's tired of playing games with you. Now you have to come back to it, a 50-50 split, or don't come back to the negotiation tables. And you guys are still talking about he doesn't deserve 50-50. You only want to give him 60-40. So how dare you say that he owes it to the fans? You owed it to the fans back in July to make it happen. And you chose not to give him what he asked for. If you owed it to the fans, then why didn't you succumb to his demands and give him what he asked for? Because he wasn't asking for the sun, moon, and the stars. What he was asking for wasn't unreasonable. He asked for a two-way rematch clause, and if you lost in the rematch, because he would be undisputed, he's already the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing. Already. Longer than you. Yeah, you have more titles, you have more opportunities. Right? Okay, so with that said, he's been the champion longer than you. So if he beats you and become undisputed, then why would you get the lion's share of the pie in the rematch clause, in the rematch? Why would you stand to earn more money in the rematch than he would? Fair is fair, and you owe it to the fans, right, Anthony Joshua? So if you owe it to the fans and fair is fair, then wouldn't you just say, okay, yeah, I could do that. I get the lion's share in the first fight, and if I should lose, and in the second fight, you get the lion's share. We reverse it. So if it's 60-40 in the first fight and you win, then it'd be 60-40 in the first fight, you win, 60-40 in my favor. I get 60, you get 40 in the first fight. Should you win in the rematch, it'd be 60-40 in your favor. You get 60 and I get 40. It's only right. But no, you rather say, well, I'm the bigger fish. I'm the bigger draw. No, you're a bigger fish. You're a bigger fish in a small pond. He's a big fish in a big pond. Two different things. Two different markets. Two different fan bases. Respect it. Understand that it's two different markets. Understand that it's two different fan bases. Understand it's night and day. So you're talking about how the sport of boxing is perceived in the States and is perceived in the UK. Two different things. So yes, you're a big fish, you're a big draw in the UK. But over here in the States, you're not a big draw. You're just not. In the States, he's a big draw. And in the UK, he's a big draw. So that makes it about equal. In the UK, you pay pay-per-view buys, your pay-per-views are $25. Over here, it's 3 times the amount. So you will have to times everything you do by 3 to equal out to what Deontay Wilder does. So if you did, let's say, 100 pay-per-view buys, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, right? Then you will have to times that by 3 to him. So it'll be equal. So when you say that you owe it to the fans now, well, you owed it to the fans back in July and August to make this fight happen. And you chose not to make it happen. Because this fight could have took place. Back in June, July, when you guys were negotiating. You chose not to make it happen. You said Wembley Stadium wasn't available. You said that date wasn't available. But then you turned around and fought Alexander Povetkin at Wembley Stadium on the same date that you said wasn't available. See, these are the contradictions and the games that were being played with Deontay Wilder, and he no longer wants to play them. And so now you guys are turning around and saying that you owe it to the fans. Well, you owed it to the fans to accept the $50 million and make the fight happen. Okay, but now you said you had other obligations that you couldn't accept the $50 million. Understandable. But when he accepted the 12-5, why didn't you make the fight and just give him what he needed, what he asked for, which was the rematch clause? 60-40 in your favor, the first fight, right? You guys said that he wasn't worth 40%. He wasn't worth a 60-40 split. These are the games you played. Now he owes it to you to make the fight happen and the fans ASAP? I don't understand how that's the case. I don't understand how that could be possible. I don't understand how that could be the case at all, whatsoever, right? I just don't see it. How could you blame him? So now you're blaming Deontay Wilder. The irony in this whole thing. The irony is, this is the irony, right? You said that you would freeze him out and not fight him to 2020 if he kept running his lips. Well, now he turned around and said he won't fight you to 2020 and you don't understand why. The irony, right? It's just like Jarrell Big Baby Miller coming out and stating that you were the cheat. You were the one that was taking performance-enhancing drugs, allegedly. And then he turned around and gets caught. He's the one that the light gets shined on. He's the one that gets caught. He's the one that fails the test. The irony, right? Well, the irony in this situation is you pointed the finger at Deontay Wilder and told Deontay Wilder, if he keeps running his lips, you'll freeze him out to 2020. And so with that said, Deontay Wilder, he then turns around and says, now, after he's tired of playing the games with you, says, well, guess what? Well, he didn't even actually say it, but his manager said it. I might not fight Anthony Joshua to 2020. We might not turn our attention to Anthony Joshua till 2020. Well, how could you blame him? You can't blame him. Right? You can't blame him. You just can't. So Deontay Wilder asked for a 60-40 split, and you guys said he wasn't worth 60-40 split. He told you guys, give me 60-40 split. You guys said he wasn't worth it. Then he also said, give me 60-40 split. You'll take the lion's share, the 60, I'll take the 40. And if should I be victorious in the rematch, it'd be reversed. I take the 60, you take the 40. I'll be undisputed. Deontay Wilder is the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing. And should he beat Anthony Joshua, he would then be undisputed. So how could you say he's not worth it? Anthony Joshua is a big fish in a small pond. Deontay Wilder is a big fish in a big pond. So everything Anthony Joshua does, you have to times it by 3 for Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua does pay-per-views at $25. It's 3 times the amount here in the States. It's $75. So for every one person that buys for Anthony Joshua, you have to say 3 people for Deontay Wilder. So it's not that far off. Anthony Joshua is not a big draw here in the States, regardless of what people lead you to believe. He's just not. Deontay Wilder is a big draw here in the States. Anthony Joshua is not that yet. But Deontay Wilder is a big draw in the UK. Deontay Wilder could go to the UK and sell out Wembley Stadium right now. Believe it. And Deontay Wilder, right? If he went to the UK and fought Dominic Brazil in the UK, it would sell out. You said that Wembley Stadium wasn't available. That's what you told Deontay Wilder. But you fought Alexander Povetkin in Wembley Stadium on the same date that you said wasn't available. So these are the games that's being played. You asked for $50 million, and then he offered you $50 million, then you said you couldn't accept the $50 million due to the other obligations. Okay, cool. But then you offered him $12.5, and he said he accepted it. As long as in the rematch, he gets the lion's share of the pie, and you didn't want to accept that. That's diva-like behavior. That's diva-like mentality. So you didn't want it. So how could you dare step today and say you owe it to the fans? Deontay Wilder owes it to the fans. Well, you owed it to the fans back in July. I'll repeat that again. You owed it to the fans when Deontay Wilder was desperately trying to make the fight, and you were desperately not trying to make the fight because you felt like you had other options. So now today's time, you want to put the pressure on Deontay Wilder. You want to turn the tables to Deontay Wilder. The irony. How could he say 2020? Well, how could you say 2020? Because you were the first one to mention 2020. You were the first one to mention you would freeze him out if he kept running his lips and not fight him in 2020. That's what you said, Anthony Joshua. Now the tides have turned. The tables have turned. And you don't understand why. We know why you don't understand why, because it's diva-like mentality, diva-like behavior. That's why. So regardless of what people are going to say, people are going to come out and they're going to say, oh, Deontay Wilder said one face, one name. Yeah, he was trying to make the fight. Now he got tired of trying to make the fight. And now he told you guys what he wants to make the fight. So you give him what he wants, you make the fight. If you owe it to the fans, as you say, then give him the 50-50 and make the fight happen. Point blank and period. Chalk it up. Or you don't owe it to the fans. Because you don't want to give him 50-50, you owe it to yourself. That's selfish behavior, right? If you owe it to the fans, then give him what he wants to make the fight, to give the fans what they want, right? Or you don't want to give him to what he wants because you don't think he's worth that. You want to keep the lion's share of the money, of the pie, right? So which one is it? Do the fans deserve it, or do they not? So you have a fight coming up here with Andy Ruiz here making your state debut at Madison Square Garden. I got to tip my hat to you because you was looking to fight Luis Ortiz. Didn't happen. You was going to fight Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Didn't happen. Not to your own doing. Right? So you went to the next best route, which is Andy Ruiz. This fight, Andy Ruiz is a good fighter, but he's going to get stoned. He's not on Anthony Joshua's level. He's not even on Jarrell Big Baby Miller's level. He's definitely not on Luis Ortiz's level. So it's going to be a mismatch, to say the least. Now, anything can happen in sport of boxing. We've seen Oliver McCall knock out Lennox Lewis. Right? We've seen Corey Sanders knock out Vladimir Klitschko. So anything can happen. Right? In the sport of boxing. They were nowhere near on the level of those fighters. Hasim Rahman knocked out Lennox Lewis as well. So we've seen stranger things happen. But what's the percentage? What's the odds? Slim. Very slim. So this is Anthony Joshua's going to knock out Andy Ruiz within the fifth round. Because regardless of what people think about me and people say about me towards Anthony Joshua, how I feel towards it, I like Anthony Joshua. I think that Anthony Joshua is definitely a top 3 heavyweight. Top 3, hands down. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. That's the top 3. Whatever order you choose to put them in. Right? I want to see the best fight the best. I would love to see this fight take place in December, November, next. Should Anthony Joshua get past Andy Ruiz because it's not a foregone conclusion, anything can happen, especially in the heavyweight division. And I'll say the same thing for Deontay Wilder and Dominic Brazil. But I would love to see the fight happen next. But if Deontay Wilder chooses to go another route, chooses to go the route of trying to get Tyson Fury back in the ring because he's unsatisfied with the outcome in the last fight, then, hey, listen, kudos to Deontay Wilder. Because he tried to give us what the fans wanted, and that was him and Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn didn't want to abide by it. And now, they feel the pressure, and they feel the need to want to make this fight happen. And now they're trying to put their best foot forward. They're claiming to anyway. Because Eddie Hearn is still claiming that he don't want to give Deontay Wilder's not worth 50-50. He's still claiming it. So if it's for the fans, then give him the 50-50. Why you don't want to give him 50-50? because you want to keep the lion's share of the money, right? So it's about the fans or it's about you. So it's like me saying this. I like to give away to the homeless. So I go up to a homeless guy and I say, I'll do anything to help the homeless out. And I go up to a homeless guy and the homeless guy needs $50 and I say, well, I can't give him $50. I'm not giving him 50. I'll give him $25. Well, then I won't do anything to help the homeless out then, right? Because I don't feel like I should give away all my earnings to them, to help them, right? You see? So I have to protect myself as well. And granted, you should. He should. But don't say that you would do anything to make the fight win. He said, give me 50-50. I'm pretty sure right now, if Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua came out and said, we're going to give Deontay Wilder 50-50, we're going to give him everything he needs to make this fight happen next, I'm pretty sure Deontay Wilder accepted. I'm almost certain he would. But that's all I got for y'all, man. It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Anthony Joshua is now begging Deontay Wilder to come back to the negotiation tables to make the fight happen next, saying that they owe it to the fans. But he didn't feel like they owed it to the fans a couple of months ago. That's all I got for y'all, man. Peace.